Jensen Huang stood on stage for 2 hours and 18 minutes. He dropped a $1 trillion revenue forecast, and everybody completely missed the point. The $1 trillion? That's the misdirection. What NVIDIA actually announced at GTC 2026 is far bigger. They didn't launch a chip. They launched an operating system for the AI era, and nobody's talking about it. Okay, speed round, the stuff everyone already covered. Vera Rubin platform, 7 new chips in full production. Trains MoE models with a quarter of the GPUs, 10x inference throughput per watt. NemoClaw, NVIDIA's enterprise agent platform. Jensen literally said, quote, OpenClaw is the operating system for personal AI. DLSS5, neural rendering that understands scene semantics. Jensen called it the GPT moment for graphics. Plus Uber Robotaxis in 28 cities, AI data centers in orbit, and they're already teasing the next architecture called Feynman. That's the headline layer. Now let's talk about what actually matters.
Welcome to GTC! GTC, we're going to talk about technology. We're going to talk about platforms. NVIDIA has 3 platforms. You think that we mostly talk about one of them. It's related to CUDA-X. Our systems is another platform, and now we have a new platform called AI Factories. We're going to talk about all of them. And most importantly, we're going to talk about ecosystems. About 10 years ago, we thought that AI would revolutionize computer graphics. Just as GeForce brought AI to the world, AI is now going to go back and revolutionize how computer graphics is done all together.
Here's the shift everyone missed. NVIDIA is moving from selling infrastructure to owning the platform layer. Look at what Jensen stacked. Vera Rubin Silicon, OpenShell security runtime, Nemotron models as defaults, NemoClaw as the agent OS and dev tools on top. That's not a chip announcement. That's a full operating system stack. Jensen said it explicitly. Mac and Windows are the operating systems for the PC. OpenClaw is the operating system for personal AI. The enterprise partner list reads like a Fortune 500 directory: Adobe, Salesforce, SAP, Palantir. These aren't pilot programs. These are dependencies that don't unwind easily. Patrick Moorhead flagged the $1 trillion demand signal, but the demand is a consequence of this platform lock-in, not the cause. Every tech outlet led with Vera Rubin's specs: 7 chips, 10x throughput. Impressive, but expected. NVIDIA delivers generational improvements every 18 months. What the market hasn't priced in is the shift from training to inference economics. The Grok 3 LPU delivers 35x inference throughput per megawatt. Vera CPU, 88 custom cores purpose-built for agentic workloads. Bluefield 4, the announcement nobody covered, boosts inference throughput 5x with AI-native KV cache. See the pattern? Training gets a bump. Inference gets a fundamental architectural rethink. Because inference is the recurring revenue stream, and whoever wins inference economics wins the next decade. Ryan Shrout nailed it. Vera Rubin is a system architecture evolution, not just a chip.
That the traditional OpenClaw has things like file structure, memory, obviously access to LLMs and tools, but where it's always had problems has been around security. And both security and an ecosystem seems to be what NVIDIA is really focused on here. So on Sunday, I attended a pre-briefing about all of this. And one of the things that struck me as quite interesting was how they were talking about claws. And that kind of makes sense now that we've seen that not only is OpenClaw out there, we've got at least 50 different variations that are floating around.
Let's get practical. The biggest friction in shipping AI agents isn't the model, it's the plumbing. NVIDIA's NemoClaw gives you the complete stack. Nemotron models for reasoning, guardrails for safety, retrieval augmented generation, and deployment tooling, all in one SDK. Sam Witteveen's analysis nailed it. The enterprise value isn't the model layer, it's the integration. NemoClaw turns what used to be a 6-month enterprise deployment into a week. And at GTC, Jensen positioned this as the default path. Every company will have AI agents. NemoClaw makes them deployable. NVIDIA's AIQ blueprint is already top ranking on deep research for enterprise agent deployment. And the Nemotron model family just became the quiet weapon. Here's why. Nemotron Ultra is purpose-built for accuracy in agentic reasoning. It ranks #1 on Arena Hard, ahead of both GPT-4o and Claude 3.5 Sonnet for structured tool use. For enterprises that need deterministic agent behavior, compliance, finance, healthcare, that benchmark matters more than vibes. And NVIDIA gives it away in the NemoClaw stack? The play is obvious. Free model, paid infrastructure. Now, who gets squeezed? AMD's MI400 was announced at CES, but it won't ship until 2027. Intel's Gaudi 3 has a software ecosystem that's 2 generations behind CUDA. Neither has an agent platform, neither has a model stack, and neither has 30,000 enterprise developers already building on their SDKs. The X sentiment is brutal. AMD bulls are calling the MI400 specs competitive on paper, but nobody's deploying AMD for inference at scale. The NemoClaw moat is real. Once you build your agent pipeline on NVIDIA's stack, switching costs are massive. Think Windows in the 90s. The OS tax that funds everything else.
Is really focused on like enterprise and companies building data centers, and for the most part, not really for the common folk. But there are a handful of things that they did announce and a few like general themes that sort of bubbled up that I wanted to share and talk about real quick. So this is really the things that I think normal people that aren't trying to build their own data centers would probably care about. And let's start with OpenClaw. If you've been paying any attention to the AI world over the last like 2 months, OpenClaw is everywhere. You can't get away from it. If you're on X, if you're on YouTube, if you're on pretty much any social platform, people are talking about
now the spectacle. Because Jensen knows entertainment. A walking, talking Olaf from Frozen waddled onto stage. 183,000 views in 4 days, the most shared clip from GTC. Jensen told Olaf, "I gave you your computer, Jetson. You learned how to walk inside Omniverse." Behind the Disney charm that describes an entire embodied AI pipeline. Train in simulation, deploy on edge hardware, run in the real world.
Does it?
Snowman coming through. Pardon me.
Newton
Hello.
works.
Wow, you're tall.
Omniverse works.
Walking. This is so much better than riding on a reindeer gazing up at a beautiful sky.
And it was because of physics, using this Newton solver that runs on top of NVIDIA Warp that we jointly developed with Disney and with DeepMind that made it possible for you.
All right, let's take a stance. 4 predictions. 1, NVIDIA will become the default AI operating system provider by 2028. Not because they are the best at everything, but because the switching cost of leaving the stack becomes higher than the cost of staying. 2, at least one major hyperscaler will build a credible alternative stack, probably Google. TPU v6 plus Gemini plus Vertex is the closest competitor. 3, the real disruption won't come from better chips. It will come from algorithmic efficiency gains that reduce compute requirements by 10x. That is NVIDIA's existential risk. Not AMD, not Intel, but a research breakthrough that makes brute force compute less necessary. 4, Jensen retires within 5 years. He has built NVIDIA into a trillion-dollar company. The succession plan, or lack of one, is the biggest undiscussed risk in the entire AI ecosystem. GTC 2026 wasn't a product launch. It was an infrastructure declaration. NVIDIA is positioning itself not as a chip company that does AI, but as the AI company that happens to make chips. The question isn't whether they can maintain this pace. It's whether anyone else can build a complete stack before the lock-in becomes irreversible. Based on what we saw this week, that window is closing fast. Let me know in the comments which GTC announcement matters most to you, and if you want more analysis like this, subscribe. That's the deep dive for today. If this changed how you think about AI, hit subscribe. We go deep every week, not just headlines. Full article with all the sources is on computeleap.com. See